last we did was the 12th mantra. Parikshalokan karmachitan brahmano nirvedha ayat na asti akrita krutena. Having examined the world's gain by action, a Brahmana should turn indifferent, should turn dispassionate towards them. And while explaining this, I gave you all a question to ponder. We said the question was, when you go through the experiences, which is the knocks and shocks of life, what is the effect it would have on an individual? What effect it would have on you? Someone who has gone through the experiences. In effect, when you go into the world, it's inevitable that one has the knocks and shocks of life. So what is the effect of such experiences? Any thoughts? The knocks and shocks are inevitable. But if you have the right mindset, it can help you evolve. So what could happen? Please rationalize along with me. But when one goes through the knocks and shocks, and the world puts you through those moments when you are on the receiving end, invariably one ends up asking the questions, why me? Why should I be subjected through why am I going through this? So the moment you experience the hardships of life, the result of that is you would become introverted. You start looking at your own life, you start examining your own actions. You start finding out, where have I gone wrong? What is it that I'm not doing right to be subjected through these phases of life or these experiences? So if you have a right attitude, right approach, the knocks and shocks of life turn you introverted, turn you inward to bring about a paradigm shift, not just a casual attitude to carry on the same old mistakes or the error one makes, but to bring about a paradigm shift in your thinking and to change your approach to life itself. So don't complain if you're going through difficult moments. Don't complain if the world is hard on you, because that also is for a reason. Use those experiences to go inward. If you don't find critics in your life, if you don't have people looking at your shortcomings, you would not grow. I would not evolve. So a true friend, a true sakha, a true well-wisher is one who looks at your shortcomings, who looks at your imperfections only to help you become a better person. And there is no better friend in the world than the world itself. The world has got no other intention but to evolve, but you to evolve. The world has no axe to grind. I'm saying the totality around you. Would you think, would it make a difference to the totality of your absence of presence? What am I in the totality? Who am I? It is only my ego makes me believe that I am someone great. Everything will go on meticulously, even in our absence. So why am I giving myself all that unnecessary importance? But whatever the world puts you through, if you can look inward, bring about a corrective measure, you're well and truly on the path. In fact, you wouldn't complain. This is one of the salient points I thought would answer the question, what do the knocks and shocks of life, those rough experiences put you through? But the question is, how early, Amitama? It should not be repeated until you learn. It should happen much before it gets repeated itself. But sadly, so we all are qualified avidyas. We are all qualified fools. So people like us will need multiple reminders, multiple avenues to bring about that change. Until that happens, the world is very kind. The world will ensure that you grow. However adamant and bullheaded you are, the world will not stop until you grow. So that only objective of the world is to make you grow. Oh, I am this and this is what I will do. Okay. If you think you have an ego, the world will try to be more stronger than you. It will crush you more. Oh no, how can you do that? Is it? You think that so? Again, it will just trounce you further. You don't try to challenge the world. Just use the world, the rough world, to evolve. That humility must be there. All right. So this was with reference to the question. Now, having examined the world's pariksha lokan, pariksha, you have to examine lokan, the worlds gained by action. What we said, the action here refers to your past actions. Your past actions create your present produce. So whatever fruits of your actions, good, bad, indifferent, what should be the attitude? A quality of a Brahmana means a sattvic person. So what is an attitude of sattva to the current produce? Means the destiny you are. Destiny always refers to the present. So what should be the attitude to the state you are in? Good, bad, indifferent. What should be the attitude? He says you must be disinterested. You must be indifferent. You must turn dispassionate towards them. You must remain detached. Whatever it be. Your present should not determine and define your life. Just because I have led an imperfect life, that doesn't mean I am destined to be imperfect. Nah. I should turn indifferent to them, dispassionate to it. If you are too concerned, it is a rajasic quality. If you don't bother, if you are not learning from the past, if you are, as I said, tamas and sattva are very close. So if I use the word indifferent, also is tamas. A tamasic fellow also has no care attitude. It's not no care attitude. Indifferent is I don't value it. It means nothing to me. You see the hollowness in all that your action has produced. Karmachitam. All that you have gained through action, you must see the hollowness in it. You know, Swami Ramatirtha, in one of his very, very famous quotes, he says, iron and gold are good for buying iron and gold. That's all. So when he says iron and gold are good for buying iron and gold, what is he saying? What is the philosophical implication there? Keep telling this to yourself or constantly. Iron and gold are good for buying iron and gold. What is your value for iron and gold? You don't have to philosophize. I interact with you once and twice. I know what is your level, what value you give to iron and gold. It doesn't take much to judge others or to assess others. It doesn't take much. It's difficult to assess myself. But what is the message when he says iron and gold can only buy iron and gold? What's the message there? You can ask Amitama to begin with, and then I'll get to others.
Hari Om, Guruji. Does it mean that it only keeps you in the material plane? Iron and gold only serves in your transactions in the material. It doesn't have the capability or the essence to take you higher to
Very
that
true.
transcendental or spiritual.
Means you can't use iron and gold to transact anything beyond iron and gold. Iron and gold refers to the material, physical, tangible. In effect, iron and gold refers to gross. So you cannot get anything subtler with gross. So you can exchange gross objects with gross tangible things. You can't gain higher through gross. You can't gain anything subtler through gross. And how is that being conveyed in the mantra? He says, the uncreated, akrita, na asti akrita kritena. The uncreated is not attained by action. That is what is being conveyed when he says, uncreated is not attained by action. What is uncreated? The uncreated refers to the unmanifest. The unmanifest here refers to the Brahman, is the spiritual wisdom. None of that can be attained through your gross transactions. Your karma action does not give you the uncreated. What gives you the uncreated? Vijay Raghavanji? The question I'm asking, sir, the uncreated is not gained through action. My question is how do you gain the uncreated?
Inspection, concentrating on higher thinking and a march towards true realization.
All right, I can't say you're wrong. But I was looking for a Muhammad Ali punch, sir. You are taking the game to the 10th round. I am looking at the first round, finish it. One
Perhaps
blow.
I'm dodging like
Finish.
Muhammad Ali, not coming
correct,
to the point.
No, you're very much there in the game. I'm not saying you're not in the game. You're playing the game, but I want to finish the game. Why dodging? The question is, he says the uncreated cannot be gained by karma. What can get you to the uncreated? All right. Setuji?
No, too many things come. It's not clear.
I know, not at all. There's nothing right or wrong. It's just a matter of giving a line of thought. Hi, Setuji.
Renunciation.
Renunciation of what?
Renunciation from fruits of action.
Correct. That is what I was looking at. What gives you the uncreated is not action, but the nirvedam to action. Your dispassion. The first line itself gives it, no? It is your dispassion to the karma and the karma chitan, whatever that you've gained by karma, it is your dispassion to that gives you the uncreated, not karma. As I said, gross cannot give you subtle. Iron and gold, good for buying iron and gold. So if I am holding on to that which can give me gross, I only get gross. But when I say no to gross, that's when I get to the subtle. So what it means in effect is, remember, this mantra is giving what is the quality of an ideal student, what is the characteristics of an ideal guru. We're getting to the ideal guru, but just trying to reiterate on what is an ideal student. An ideal student is one who, we mentioned the three qualities last week. If you remember, the three qualities we mentioned last week. Ramji, remember the three qualities?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the three qualities are Viveka, Vairagya, and Mumukshatva. Yeah.
Perfect, sir. Viveka, Vairagya, and Mumukshatva. And what is that? Can you just quickly capture what is Viveka?
Viveka is the ability to discriminate between good and bad. And Vairagya.
In the context? No. Sir, Viveka, in the context, please.
In the context of this particular mantra, that
not this mantra. Viveka always in the spiritual context, please.
The Viveka in the spiritual context is to understand what will take you to the higher levels and what is taking you down. You should be able to understand the difference between those two.
Mhm.
Yeah, and working with a higher purpose is the way to, evolve. So that viveka one should have. That
Mhm.
what is second is vairagya, which is a renunciation. The fruits of your action, how you renounce or how you are detached from the fruits of your action.
That is in the context.
Ah.
But how do you explain vairagya in context with viveka? Because viveka and vairagya are often used as a collective usage.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you explain vairagya with reference to viveka?
So with viveka, you are, you are realizing that going upwards needs renunciation. Basically, you may do good deeds, you may accrue a lot of fruits out of the good deeds you do. But if you are renouncing those fruits in the journey upwards, then I think that is what is the renunciation we're talking about.
So again, you're coming to the fruits.
Yeah.
But if you say viveka, as you said, viveka is discrimination.
Yeah.
You are able to discriminate between the two opposites. So viveka in the spiritual context is, viveka is, I understand which actions are evolutionary, which are devolutionary.
Correct. Yeah.
Which are satsang, which are dusang. Right? I have clarity. I'm able to see which to do, which not to do.
Right.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Now, vairagya to that would be, it is just not discriminating. I have the capacity to actually drop the lower.
Okay.
It is just not, I'm giving a lecture. Oh, I know the consequences of doing illegal activities, of malpractices in business. But I don't have the intellectual conviction and the strength to uphold the value systems in my business. That vairagya I don't have. I easily stoop to unethical practices and means to get my job done. Then I don't have that dispassion towards actions which are the lower. There is a disparity between viveka and vairagya.
Yeah. Okay.
You get it, sir? So
Yeah.
the vairagya in context to viveka is not only I know what not to do, I also have the capacity not to do also.
Not to do. Yeah.
It is not a mere, so viveka is a mere intellectual understanding. So amongst, when I talk to you all, when I interact with you all, you are able to discriminate with me very clearly. You understand the ill effects of actions which are not evolutionary, but then you will not be able to back it up with the dispassion towards it.
Yeah. First is the understanding, second is the action, actually doing,
acting on it.
Acting on it, yeah.
So what would a true teacher look in you?
You would see whether you are actually dropping those lower actions or not.
Correct.
That vairagya, whether you have developed or not. That's what.
A true teacher only looks in your vairagya.
So here when we say actions, are we meaning all kinds of actions, or are we meaning only actions which take us upwards? I mean, to the higher levels. Means selfish actions. Normally, it is a selfish action. Selfish actions, the results of which you get attached to them. Unselfish.
So, yes. So when they mean action here, they mean desired in action.
That's all. Yeah. Okay.
Because in the previous mantras, he spoke heavily about punya, papa, and all that.
Right.
So he is referring to all that because he is not yet switched to the next jnana kanda. So
Okay.
he's dismissing the actions which are of karma kanda.
Which are based
Don't
on
forget,
desires and
desired actions with the phalakama, karma kanda actions will not take you to the uncreated. So he's attacking those, he's dismissing of those who perform karma kanda.
Correct.
The uncreated cannot be attained through karma, action. Refers to all that which he mentioned till now, leading up in this section. So you must understand its limitation. So he's exposing the limitation of performing rites and rituals.
Yeah.
So when you have Viveka and Vairagya, that intensifies in the expression of mumukshatva.
Yeah.
This is the connection. When you have Viveka and Vairagya, what happens? Mumukshatva gets manifest. Sinhaji, what is your understanding of mumukshatva, sir? You are very near yet very far, sir.
Absolutely.
When I say very near, Sinhaji is in the neighboring room of the Wisdom Institute. He has come all the way from Malaysia to join us for the puja tomorrow, for the occasion. So happy to have seen him yesterday night. Yes, sir.
So, I'm not.
No, the coming here is no sign of a mumukshatva. Don't try to justify. You may have come for many other reasons other than spirituality. That I don't know. What agenda you have got, I don't know. You got a hidden agenda in many things. So that is yet to be, Gayatri Ma, we have to yet, please, you have to find out all these things before you give approval for them to come here. Check all the things, why they're coming, what is their itinerary, what they are doing, what they're not doing, then only give the entry permission. So what is your understanding of mumukshatva, sir? Are you familiar with the term?
No, I'm not, Guruji.
Fair enough, no problem, sir. In fact, mumukshatva is said, mumukshatva, M-U-M-U-K-S-H-A-T-V-A. I repeat, M-U-M-U-K-S-H-A-T-V-A. Mumukshatva is a Sanskrit word which directly translates as a burning desire for liberation. May not be direct translation, but philosophical implication. Mumukshatva is said to be desire for liberation, but we are qualifying it as a burning desire for liberation. And the first thing, that burning desire for liberation, if you have, it is seen, it expresses as, Gayatri Ma, if you want to know whether you have the mumukshatva in you, what is that acid test?
How we are to our karma?
Not at all. How do you test your mumukshatva? How do you know the intensity of mumukshatva? Quick acid test.
By the Vairagya?
How do you know that? We are saying mumukshatva to liberation. The desire to get.
How much we are impacted by? How much we are impacted by the knocks and shocks of life?
Good try, Gayatri Ma. 3 tries. I must say 3 fails. Ashama is telling directly to me, being desireless. It's rather, desirelessness is a very, it's a state. You can't reach the state of desirelessness. Until you get to Brahman, you don't reach the state of desirelessness. But that mumukshatva is measured by being awake at Brahma Muhurtam. That is the test. There is no greater test than that. If you are not available at the Brahma Muhurtam to imbibe the wisdom, you may get up at Brahma Muhurtam, do pranayama. You are increasing a lung power. You may get up at Brahma Muhurtam and do your business. You may do Brahma Muhurtam and go for a walk. All that is only not spiritual exercise. Increasing lung power, doing Kapalabhati or going for a walk and strengthening your back and calf muscles and doing your business is all that is nothing, not spiritual activity. To reflect, to do that manana on the acquired knowledge during that auspicious hour of Brahma Muhurtam is the acid test of how much mumukshutva you have. It's not me saying it. The Shastras are roaring this truth. Whether you see it or not, I don't know. And you know whether you have the desire to get up or not. Whether is it there in you, man, I have lost enough time. I can't afford to lose any more time. Is there a sense of emergency or urgency in you all? Nah. Tomorrow. But I'm trying, Guruji. I have setting up that alarm every morning and doing what? Disturbing my spouse because my alarm rings and she wakes up and I don't get up. But I am trying. My commitment, I am consistently trying, Guruji. All the spouses are complaining to me, Guruji, what have you done? This fellow never gets up and he puts the alarm and I wake up and I can't get to sleep. This fellow is completely immersed in tamas. That is not it. So, Viveka, Vairagya, Mumukshutva. So, when these three qualities are taken as a package, what it results in, it expresses as a passion for the higher. And an uncomparable passion to get to the higher. And that is inversely proportional to the dispassion to the lower. You wouldn't bargain anything for the lower. You wouldn't compromise anything in the lower. But you will be interested in all that in the lower that will take you to the higher. That is satsang. I hope you're getting that passion towards the higher expresses as the dispassion to the lower. It is inversely proportional. So whatever you're interested in the lower is only to the extent it takes you to the higher. If anything that doesn't take you to the higher, you will not do it. You know, some may say, Guruji, why are you going for a trek? As you all know, I'm soon may not be available for more than a couple of weeks because I'm taking a trek to the Himalayas for more than 17 days. I'll be away. When I last explored those mountains, I found such a deep spiritual connect, apart from the demands of the physical trekking and just scaling the mountain, which is demanding on your physique. I found I was a loner right throughout, though you had a few trekking with you. I was a loner, and all the time I was left to myself to contemplate and reflect and just revel in that the majestic beauty. I found such a deep spiritual connect, and I get goosebumps every time I look back into those. So it is not just mere entertainment or not. You may say, why are you wasting your valuable resources that you have? I find a very, very deep connect through that experience. And it's a once in a lifetime experience as far as I'm concerned. And so if I can make it happen, why not? So see things, do things that can help you evolve. And only to trigger your passion. I would think 10 times travel the world to see the world. I'm not doing it as a tourist, not to mere fan your desires. I'm not justifying, and I don't need to justify to any one of you or anybody for that matter. I'm just giving an example. I don't need to justify to you. You don't have to justify to me. You do things that help you evolve. I do things that help me evolve. Chapter closed. There ends the matter. Use your buddhi to make that right choice. So this is mentioned in the first half of the verse. And then he says, to know that, all right, just before I go ahead, Sinhaji raised a hand. Yes, sir.
So Guruji, this is intriguing what you said about the connect to your inner spiritualism while you're out there. And this has happened to me many times. So my question is, what is it that invokes this? I'm now doing some research and practice onto a Japanese system called forest bathing. And when I'm in the jungle, I feel this peace, energy, and connect to the natural world as if I'm part of it and not trying to control it. But more than that, it opens up something inside me that wants me to explore further, as if I'm seeking liberation. That feeling comes naturally. How does that happen in the natural world? How does that happen?
Because when you are at home, it's an unnatural world. As simple as that. Where is the too much analysis there? When you are at home with Amitama, it's unnatural world. When I am at home with Vijama, unnatural world. Being in the woods and in the forests and in the mountains is a natural world. Liberation, moksha. Nothing more greater than that. So revel in that. Create opportunities to be more. Amitama, nothing against you. The same applies to you also. I know you are reveling in peace. Jokes apart, sir. So it just gives a conducive soil. It's not that it is vicarious, but it has that association of thoughts, you know. It's like even when you see plants or greenery, it has a certain association of thoughts. The color green and plants and all that has a certain association on your eye. If you only see concrete jungle every time, it has a certain effect on your eye, even the mere perception. So it is, I don't know, it's beyond words. It's just beyond words. It's something so pure, so in fact, Ramatirtha says Vedanta is written in the brooks. Vedanta is written on the leaves. Vedanta is there in the valleys. Vedanta is there in the mountains. Is there in nature. So only one who connects with nature, in fact, they become extremely poetic. So there are two things. One is that you find a connect with nature, point one. And second is you're withdrawing from the world. It's that solitude that is the crux there, the key there. Sir, you cannot disregard that the Himalayan ranges were the laboratories of these great spiritual gurus. It is where Vedanta was born. That's where Uma is said to be the daughter of the great Himavan. Uma is said to be a goddess of knowledge. And it is a daughter of Himalayas, which means the knowledge is born in the Himalayan valleys. So there is a connect between those mountain ranges, those pristine atmosphere, and where this knowledge was born. So it has some connect, you know. So perhaps it may give you some kind of an answer, but it's the spirit that you can relate to when I'm saying it's not the words, because you experience it in an environment and I experience it. Can I get away from the hush bush and din and roar and board meetings and traveling and flight and work and demands and schedules and produce and say, no, I have nothing to do. I don't want to be interested in all that. And just take a step back and just contemplate and be by yourself. It takes some vairagya to do that, sir. And one who does that experiences that the richness of solitude. In the 12th and 13th chapter of the Gita, he says a spiritual man has got what is known as distaste for crowd. And that's what it is. Being a loner is because you have a distaste to be in the crowd or being in the marketplace. Not that you hate people, but you prefer to be a loner. And that is what is I would get, because I know for sure there is no internet and I am not going to be reachable. Now I don't have a time for myself. Every 5 minutes, there's some message that comes and that needs to be done, this needs to be done, that needs to be proofread, this needs to be approved, this mail has to be sent, that has to be done. Almost yesterday, Rajima, so sweetly, she was sending me some messages yesterday evening. Guruji, we need to discuss these things just to ensure that whatever little things need to be done. I had to tell her, Ma, I am studying, I am not available. Did I not say that, Rajima, to you? And only she said, Namaskar, she said.
Yes, Guruji.
मैंने बोला था ना, you
Ji.
have to endure, otherwise they think I'm only...
No. That's so true.
And she was getting to certain administrative things that has to be overseen so that things to be done. I said, Ma, I am not available, I'm studying. This was at 8:30, 8 o'clock at night in the evening. 7-ish, 8 o'clock. I said, I am not available, I said. So the world is going to draw you out into it. You need to find ways and means to get out of it. Insulate yourself from the world. Enna Gayatri Ma? She had a cheeky smile, so I need to get that clarified.
Even I want to get out of everything, Guruji.
I offered to you. You also come for the trek. You said you gave many reasons.
No, that trekking, no. I went to Kedarnath. I felt the same thing. So I can feel the same thing.
Again, I'm giving you, you can feel the same thing where? In your home.
I'm blissful, Guruji, when I sit in my house.
Oh, that means you don't want to come to the institute. What are you trying to get at? Therefore, she's saying, don't send me any messages, Guruji. Don't disturb me. I'm very happy where I am. Is that what you're getting at?
No, Guruji. Karma is definitely to be done. I'll do that. That's a part of my constitution.
Absolutely. No, one needs to taste that solitude. One needs to revel in that bliss of being by self. And once you taste it, it is an experience to be revel, you know. All right. So I hope that clarifies, Hanaji. Vijayji, please. So we can't hear you. No, there are some audio issues. No, we can't hear you, sir. You are unmuted. No, we still can't hear you. No, sir. No. Just type it out. If you can phrase what you want to ask, we can clarify. Okay. Lakshmi Ma?
This is, no, Guruji, just adding on to what Sinhaji said. I just read a book, Growing Within by Sri Aurobindo this morning. And he also describes like what Swami Ramatita said, you know, like you find in the oaks. He said something like, in the dark woods, in the quietude of nature, like a moonbeam, your internal consciousness begs to merge with the eternal consciousness, and you have a feeling of the divine grace touching you in that calmness. So it described, maybe not specific words, but to that extent it described and captured that beautiful feeling. And I thought it resonated with what the quote of Swami Ramatita too, you see. So the way he described it was very beautiful. I just wanted to...
Indeed. And it's and no doubt it does capture, but you know, as you and I would agree, those subtle sentiments or feelings cannot be captured in words. In fact, feeling by itself cannot be captured in words. How much can you, even if I ask you how much you love your children, Can you please put it in words to us?
True.
You can't capture emotion in words. And here we're talking of the subtlest of emotion. And how can you capture it in words? Impossible.
True, Guruji. When Usha and I were in Rishikesh, everybody asked, when we came back, everybody asked us, what were you all doing there? We said, we were so happy. What were you doing? Nothing. You know, that's all we said. I mean, you did nothing and you're so happy. We said, yeah, we just reveled at the like you said, that Ganges river banks. We sat there just quietly. It was beautiful.
In fact, that nothing is everything.
Yes, true.
Emptiness is fullness. That people don't realize, you know, that emptiness is fullness, that nothing is everything. But for that, you must have that vairagya. For that, you must have take capacity to say no to the world, take a step back and fill yourself with what providence can provide you with.
Very true, Guruji. When you come back to reality, then it's very hard to stay in that meditative stage, right? That's true.
These are moments like what the ships go through, what is known as dry docking. One needs to do this dry docking very often so that you are back into the rough seas where the rough waves will knock and shock the ship so that you're prepared. That is very important, you know.
That's a nice analogy, actually.
Yeah. One needs to keep doing as often as possible. All right. Vijayji just privately shared of his awestruck feeling when he visited a national park in Kenya. I'm just reading. He felt that the reason that was because nothing was man-made. Nobody, you know, it was not owned by me or anything but he felt very humble, you know. So I'm just sharing what he has chatted. So you all understand it, but do you have, as I told, when I told Ramji, do you understand the Viveka part of it, of what it is to be in the din and roar of the marketplace or caught up in the worldly activities or creating that aloofness? We understand that discrimination, but do I have the vairagya to step away from the world and yet not get frustrated? I mean, to be detached, to have that spirit and say, yes, I'm happy away from it. Being away from it and yet have that capacity is vairagya. All right, so just moving on, the second half of the verse of the mantra, he says, to know that he should refers to know that here refers to the uncreated. What should the student do? He refers to a qualified student who has examined the worlds with dispassion. What should he do? He should Guru eva abhigachet samitpani. He should approach the Guru with sacrificial faggots in hand. So the sacrificial faggots in hand with due orthodoxy. This is tradition. You don't bulldoze tradition. You don't disregard tradition. Even before the Guru gives you knowledge, the student goes with Guru Dakshina. What is faggots in hand? Some wood cut into smaller pieces so that it can help the Guru. Perhaps he wants to perform a yajna or a yaga. He wants to prepare a food, or he wants to use that for his warmth in the jungle to ignite fire. For whatever the Guru needs, that is Guru's discretion, what he wants to use that for. But I should go, oh, he already has a huge, a huge pile of faggots. Why should I take? Many of us give reasons why not to do Guru Dakshina. Guru is provided for. That fellow has enough for his survival. Why should I give? I will not give. Stop your stupid arrogance. Put aside that. Even before the Guru gives you knowledge, you approach the Guru with Gudakshanam. It's not whether the Guru has it or not, it's me to approach it with. I am not saying it. The text is saying to know that, and the Guru has not yet spoken. The knowledge is not yet imparted. So even before you receive the knowledge, you approach with the faggots in your hand, symbolizing the essential quality of service and surrender in a student. Like you don't visit anybody's home without taking a gift in your hand. That is our culture. Even if I were to visit your house, invited, uninvited, I will not come empty-handed. Forget empty-handed. You come and take what is provided here, fill your boxes and take and go. You don't care whether others have it or not. You come empty-handed. I will not eat. You don't eat. Take without contributing. Basic culture in our basic culture in our country is you don't go empty-handed anywhere. Forget when you approach a Guru. So it doesn't matter whether the Guru is provided for or not. The question is, what have I offered? It is Guru's business to do what he has. It is his karma he is provided with. What have you got to do with it? You go to him, you take something, full stop. You don't do this, you don't have the attitude of surrender to the Guru. You don't have the attitude of seva to the Guru. What am I doing to my Guru? Ask that. Ask yourself, how I'm doing so much to humanity. Forget all humanity. What are you doing to your Guru? Directly or indirectly, am I in any way serving him? And it can be misunderstood because the Guru has a motive. A Guru would not be interested in anything from a student, but it is the precursor set for the student to approach a Guru. Now, having set all the qualifications of a student, now the later half of the verse, he says, you should approach a Guru who is Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. Only a Guru who is learned, well learned, Shrotriyam. Means he has such profound theoretical knowledge of the subject matter. He is so well versed, he is so well learned in the Shastras, he can quote backwards and forwards. He is so well into the knowledge. Not only he knows that knowledge, he also has the skill to communicate that knowledge. He's able to connect with the vibe of a student and calibrate the knowledge to the requirement of the student. So it is knowing it and communicating. What is the point? You know it and you are dumb. You can't talk, or you have no skills to talk. Will I be able to communicate? Will a Guru be able to communicate? You should approach a Guru who is well learned, Shrotriyam, who adopts various ways and means, who feels and understands every pulse of a student and calibrates the knowledge so that the knowledge can be well received or he is well communicated. That's what means Shrotriyam. And then secondly, Brahmanishtam. Such a person who is truly established in Brahman, relative and absolute. Oh, thank you, sir. My Guru is not established in Brahman. I have today officially decided I am throwing about my Guru. Is something being communicated in the chat, Ramji? Oh, you asked a question earlier. Sorry, I didn't see that. Is the question still stand, Ramji? Ma, I'm asking Ramji, why is Ushama nodding her head? Huh? What sort of a connection is this? I don't understand. That man has a question. You are nodding whether the question still stands or not. This equation I have never understood.
There is always a question between husband and wife, sir. So that always stands.
Yes. Sadly, I am also in the same boat,
Yeah,
sir.
boat,
So I also
yeah.
understand, sir. So I am also a samsari like you, a grihastha.
So yeah, that question still stands in the sense that my understanding of whatever I have been learning in the last 2-3 years is that if you are in the midst of the market and that you are experiencing the solitude, that is a sign of evolution. So I was just asking whether, I'm not saying that going to the woods and experiencing it is wrong. I'm just saying that should we also add this into the same type of experience? You can do the same experience if you are in the midst of the market and then midst of the people and still experience that detachment, that solitude, that introverted feeling.
But it is only possible to live it in the marketplace only when you have cultivated it.
Yeah, right.
And one needs to retrieve, one needs to go to these spiritual resorts, which is spiritual sanctuaries where you withdraw into the inner self to cultivate that spirit.
Yeah.
And the more you withdraw, the more you are ready for the world. The less you withdraw, the less you're pounded by the world.
Yeah, that's true.
So when I withdraw 70%, I'm that much prepared. 70% of my time I'm prepared in the world, and I'll remain unaffected. You will go through the ups and downs, but you will still remain like the ship will go through the ups and downs of the waves, but it will not sink. You don't sink. And what will ensure that the ship has got that overhauling, it has got through the dry docking. Imagine a ship continuously, months, years on, and it's in the waters. The salty waters will start destroying the metal.
Yeah.
The ship will ultimately sink. So the dry docking is the spiritual withdrawal. And if dry docking is not done, you will crash. So to answer your question, is it necessary to go to the woods? Absolutely necessary. Woods is not, so sir, the least you can do is every morning you are by yourself, your inner sanctuary, where the world is not disturbing you and you can be with yourself. That hour, nobody will disturb you. The least you can do is that. And once you get a taste of it, then you will say, you keep saying D and D. Do not disturb. I keep telling, quite often I am compelled to keep saying the word, don't D and D. Don't disturb. And that's not to escape from the world. It is only to insulate you that when you are in the world, you are not affected. So it is interdependent. The more I withdraw, the more I'm ready for the world. The less I withdraw, the less I'm prepared to be in the marketplace and yet revel. That's what I say. As I say earlier, I said the two pedals to growth. The two pedals to growth is one is knowledge, other is withdrawal. So these are two pedals to your growth. You need to have the knowledge. Second, you must be able to withdraw to reflect on the knowledge. But if you're not able to withdraw, where will you reflect on the knowledge? And when you have reflected, you have more strength to withdraw further from the world to gain more knowledge, more wisdom. So they're both interdependent, like a pedals of a bicycle. But what I keep telling is, all of you have enough knowledge, but are you all having the capacity to withdraw from the world and say, I need to consolidate my knowledge? Where you all need to inject is withdrawal. Enough of justifying by saying duties and responsibilities. It's all helpless attachments. Let the world be. Nothing will happen to you and your world if you get away from the world. And I'm not being specific, Ramji. I'm just saying, I'll have to tell to myself, what would happen if I'm away for 17 days? Nothing will happen. Little cobwebs will come in the institute. That's all. We'll come back and clean it. Gayatri also says she doesn't want to come. So there'll be that much less activity here. It's okay. We'll come back and collectively clean the cobweb.
Yes, Guruji.
See, the karma, she's always ready. Maybe we'll give a broom to Sinhaji also. Got the message, Ramji?
Yes, sir.
Good answer? Yes, sir. Thank you. Harish?
Guruji, I just wanted to share. Can you hear me, Guruji?
Yes.
Guruji, I just wanted to share also, we're talking about withdrawing from the world as part of our growth, to be by ourselves the inner sanctuary. There's a total opposite which I've seen in my environment. There's another terminology that's the opposite. It's called FOMO, fear of missing out. Many people do not want to withdraw from the world because they want to be there because they feel they're missing some great event of life. So people suffer FOMO issues. There's a terminology. I don't know if you've heard of this terminology, Guru.
No. How do you spell it?
FOMO. It's an acronym. It means fear of missing out.
FOMO.
MO. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fear of missing out. So a lot of people suffer from FOMO issues. So they want to be at every party, every outing, every function, because if they don't go, they have FOMO issues. Basically, that's what I've learned in the recent years. I just wanted to share this.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It's exactly the opposite of it, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Sad. It's a very sad state to have FOMO. Yeah, Vijayji?
Are you able to hear me this time, Guruji? Yeah. Okay.
Loud and clear.
I was thinking this, it's a two-stage process. I think the withdrawal is only one half of the process, and the second part is to apply it for thinking, positively apply it for introspection. Because a student daydreaming in class also is withdrawing. I mean, that
I hope
perhaps
not.
he is doing the first part of it right, the second part of it is different.
Sir, I hope not.
No, I mean,
Please,
I would have been
please
talking totally unrelated stuff if I had been doing that.
Please assure me, I'm not talking of you, but please assure me it's not happening.
Yeah, and Guruji, coming to what I think Haraji was saying is that goes, I think it goes back a little earlier, the intentions to begin with. I mean, why you want to withdraw, I mean, the reasons why you want to withdraw and what you want to do with that withdrawn mind. That fear of missing out, that definition is that I want to be part of a certain type of activity, certain type of, part of the world or life. So that funda is not all right means withdrawal is no use, and application of mind is also no use. I think all are in one sense or other related, I suppose.
Yeah, it is inversely proportional. FOMO is extroverted state, withdrawal is introverted state. And you should only do to the extent it doesn't frustrate you. That's very important. The moment you're getting frustrated, that means your desires are being unfulfilled. You can't withhold the pressure of your desires. Okay, sir. So Shrotriyam, Brahmanishtam, Shrotriyam, as I've said, he is well learned theoretically. Brahmanishtam means he is well rooted in the Shastras. He is well established. He has attained that spiritual growth. So one who has the capacity to speak and convey, a person who is established in spirit, means when they speak sense. And what is spoken can be weighed in gold. Means there's depth in that message because it comes from the depth of their attained spiritual state. So what these two words are saying, imagine there are two types of gurus. One who is well versed, spiritually established, but he is dumb. A second guru, he is also well versed, but he is Shrotriyam. He can utter the Vedic truths. He can communicate the truths. Who is well communicated? Who communicates well of the truth? Now, let's not take extreme examples of the great Ramana Maharshi and say, oh, Ramana Maharshi also communicated. Don't. You're taking one and generalizing. Ultimately, what communicates is you have to live the truth yourself. But so when you get to this combination, obviously a person who is able to communicate is well understood than a person who is dumb. So I think this is one of the such a wholesome mantra. As I said, this mantra has profusely been quoted by the great Adi Shankaracharya. Please by heart it. It gives ideal quality of a student, an ideal quality of a guru. Many gurus talk, but talk nonsense. To have a guru who can speak sense and who can speak from the substance, from the depth of wisdom, is Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. So a student who has turned dispassionate to his produce, what actions are produced, should approach a guru who is Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. Viveka, Vairagya, Mumukshatva. It's so difficult to get away from this mantra, but it's a fabulous message. Just to remind ourselves and reiterate, we will chant this mantra twice. Please share the text, Gayatri Ma. Parikshalokan karmachitan brahmano nirvedhamaya nastya krita kritena tadvijnanartha sagurumeva bhigachet samitpane shrotriyam brahmanishtham. Parikshalokan karmachitan brahmano nirvedhamaya nastya krita kritena tadvijnanartha sagurumeva bhigachet samitpane shrotriyam brahmanishtham. We'll come back. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.